Day number 24 of the Daily Journal video series. Everyone, welcome back. My name is Hervin, and this is the Daily Journal video series where every day I am publicly documenting here our journey as we try and scale our business, any lessons that I find throughout the day, anything that I'm doing, any lessons that I find just from the books that I'm listening to, anything that I find cool. I'm just documenting, sharing over here. The goal of this is that I want to keep a daily log of everything that I'm learning and anything that I think is worth sharing. And so, anyway, today it is Monday. It is 10:38 p.m. and I just finished doing about 2.5 hours of support. Our business feels unscalable right now. It's gonna change hopefully at some point in the future, but yeah, right now it just does not feel scalable. I've worked pretty much the entire day from morning up until now. I mean, we take a break to work out and to eat and things like that, but yeah, I mean, it's just been so waking up, work, waking up, meditation, work, eat, work, workout, work, done. And so that's kind of how the day is structured. So it's just, I mean, besides like working out and eating, it's just like work. And so right now, one of our employees, our key employees, and having a team of 5 people, we're a small team of 5 people. Every employee is essentially a key employee. One of them is in vacations right now, and so today they're in vacations this week. So this week is about survival. It's about just keeping the ship afloat, making sure that we don't drown. And we have a ton of work. So, I mean, just in support. On top of that, like today we had an interview. We interviewed about 10 different, it was like 9 people who came on that group interview. There were some solid people in there that we're excited about, that we instantaneously move forward to the next step and to the assessment step. We're excited to see how they do. And so, yeah, we just need the help. Right now, we're pretty much drowning in support. Thankfully, I've been getting a lot of referrals, so a lot of sales calls. So every day, I am doing a lot of sales calls as well. And so today, one of the things that I worked on, so I'm trying to translate a lot of the support videos that I have inside our community, translate that into support documents, like product guides and support articles. And so we're trying to turn those videos into text-based support guides or support articles. And the reason for that is because those are going to be easier to find, easily updated, easily searchable, easy to, if we ever get a question, to copy and paste from them. And so, yeah, so that is something that we're going to be moving forward with. And so right now, one of the things that I did today is that I created kind of like an SOP for being able to turn those Loom videos into support articles. So I created a detailed guide there on how to do that. I created a Loom video that explains how to do that. I found somebody. So what I did is recently I hired 2 people out of UpWork, gave them a couple of videos, paid them like $20 to give them 4 videos so that they can take those videos, turn them into support documents. And the goal for me was to find somebody that did a good job on those support articles, and so that then we can then hire them more of a just not like a full-time position, but give them this entire project so that they can help us move a lot faster with the support documentation. So that's what I worked on today. Besides, so interviewed, had some sales calls, I've been working on the support, trying to create that guide for how to create support guide. So a guide about how to create guides. Yeah, I mean, there is, and then on top of it, and then just worked on support for a few hours. It feels like the progress is so slow. And this it's just one of the things that I wrote today in my journal is this feeling that I have or this idea where I say to myself that I want to have one of my goals is to have an empty calendar where I'm not taking meetings. I'm not doing a lot of the meetings on the day to day of the company. I'm just like working on high level things. And that's kind of like where I feel like where my skill set is. But right now I'm in the tactical seat and I'm doing all the things. And so I want to move. So like part of me, it's just like, I just want freedom. I just want to not have to do anything that I don't want to do. And when I think of that, I think of how far, like immediately my mind comes, the thing that it comes up with is you're so far away from that. It isn't even like, it almost feels like I almost have to just buckle up and just enjoy the ride here as we slowly inch our way out. It might be years before I get to a position where I can actually have some free time in my schedule. And the way I'm looking at this is almost like if you ever think of bodybuilding, you're in the beginning phase and you want to have like a super jack physique or something like that. You're so far away from that. And that's kind of like what comes up in my head. I'm reading here my journal, what I wrote today. And one of the things that as I think is like I would love to have an empty schedule. And I don't mean like unemployed. I mean like just working on the things that I want to work on and doing things that I find fun and just taking on responsibility and jobs that fit my skill set and I want to do and that bring me energy. So I'm a big believer in like the zone of genius and zone of excellence and zone of incompetence. I think those are the three, but the point being here is that there are things that you're not good at, things that you're good at but you don't love, and then there are things that you're really good at that bring you a lot of energy. And I just want to spend more time there. And so yeah, that's what I have coming up for me is the feeling that I want to focus on the things that I'm really good at right now. I feel like the skill sets that I need to get there are number one, being able to paint the picture better. So that being able to create crystal clear visions of what I want to have happen, and then being able to delegate that to a team and then giving them coaching and feedback along the way. So that's what I need to improve in myself. I feel like I right now I tend to hold on to a lot of things just for the fear of like, maybe it's not going to get done in the way that I'm thinking about it. And so right now I need to improve my ability to give feedback. And yeah, so that let me see. I'm reading here. If I'm looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Right now, I was writing down what is the roadmap for a company, and just right now, the first thing, and this is something that we got asked inside the interview today. One of the candidates asked, "What do you see for what is the next year going to look like?" And in my head, I want to do a million things. Like I want to grow a lot, but reality is like we got to hire 4 new people. That onboarding process is going to take a while. From there, we're going to need to get a hold on support. We're going to need to improve our support processes. I'm going to need to coach our team on that, which is going to be kind of like a 3 to 6 month project. The hiring is going to be another like 2-3 months. That whole entire process might be a year. So it might be a year before we get our foundation completely straightened up. And so, yeah, before we can have even a fighting chance at scaling our company. And let's see what else I have written here that I want to document. And so one of the things that I've been thinking about, and this is just a little tiny tip for people who struggle with self-criticism and not being able to take action. And so I saw this video yesterday from this person called Dr. K. He is a psychiatrist but he also used to train as a monk for a while in India, and And so one of the things that he talked about is that inside your mind, and this is just kind of like a good visual, you have both an artist and, let's say, an editor, right? So you have the artist who's very creative and comes up with wild ideas and comes up with really like off the cuff things. I'm just noticing here that my microphone might be off, so in case now I'm just wondering if my audio is even playing. But in any case, I'm gonna go along with this. Hopefully my audio, I haven't recorded a video for nothing. So you have your artist, and then you have your creative. You have your creative person, your artist, and then you have your editor. One of the things that he talks about is that as you're writing, as you're creating, you want to shut down the internal critic that you have. And for a lot of people, I know that critic is strong. Like for me, I used to be extremely self-critical to the point where I couldn't take action because I couldn't see 3 steps ahead. And if I didn't know how to proceed, then I wouldn't be able to take action. And then, or if I'm doing something, it isn't good enough. And so if I think of an idea, I'm like, oh, that idea isn't very good. And so I don't even, so then I kind of shut myself down. And so one of the things that I have learned over the years that I just wanted to share with people is something that has allowed me to take action regardless of having self-criticism. In fact, this is a tip for how to turn off the self-criticism inside of you. And it's just something that I say to myself, which is, how can I create something bad? So like, let's say I'm about to write some advertising copy, and every time I think of an idea, I'm like, oh no, that's not a good idea. What about this other idea? No, that's not a good idea either. That's good, but it's not great. And so you kind of like, you come up with an idea. The creative person inside of you comes up with the idea, and immediately the other person inside of you, like the critic inside of you, just squashes it down. And so what I have said is, in order to put that critic at bay, it's just, instead of saying I'm gonna create some really good advertising copy, I just say to myself, I'm going to create really bad advertising copy. And then that allows me the freedom to then say, to then just be playful and have fun with it and not take it so seriously and not put a lot of pressure on myself. So then the self-critic isn't like flaring up or something like that, coming out of the shadows and shutting everything down. And so that is something that I do that I have found has helped me. And so I just wanted to put this out there on the world. If you ever struggle with getting things done or getting started because you have a very loud internal critic, just say to yourself, what if I can make something bad? Like, in fact, let me intentionally make something bad and let me go all in. Sort of not like, let's say you're thinking, I want to make a little drawing. You don't just make a little drawing. You go all in like little kids do. Like they make the drawing, they color it, even if they make the worst drawing, and then they like fully color it where the whole entire page is colored and it looks like, they really took their time and they went all in. Like that's the kind of bad I'm talking about. Like allow yourself to go all in and make something bad, because guess what? Sometimes in doing that, like you'll find that most of the times you're not going to do something bad. In reality, it's just, you're just shutting down the self-critic, so the internal critic that you have, and then you'll eventually like just allowing yourself to be in that playful, I don't care, let's make something bad happen. As in like, let me put some bad art out there, or let me create something that's bad. That allows you the freedom to not, and it removes the pressure away from yourself so that then you can take action. I did this the other day when I was so I just said there at the beginning where we just hired 2 people from UpWork, gave them some work, tested them to see which one would create good support documentation. And I was like, for the longest time, I was dreading looking at UpWork and seeing the work, because they had turned in the work, and I was dreading going in there and giving them feedback, because I'm usually a person that likes to give like very detailed feedback. And if if I say something, I want to back it up, and I want to give people an explanation as to why I'm saying what I'm saying, so that they don't just feel like I'm just particular or something like that, but rather I'm giving them feedback that makes sense. And so I want to have it structured the right way. I want to, if I'm going to give them feedback, I want to say like, hey, here's what I'm seeing, here's what I would have done it differently. And so I had it in my head as to like all the perfect feedback that I wanted to do. And I'm like, man, that's too much. And I'm obviously not getting anything done. I'm procrastinating this. Like, let me just give them bad feedback. Let me just say like, hey, and then just having that mentality in my head even allowed me to open up the documents and look at them. And it was very easy for me to go through that after I allowed myself not to be like perfect on this, by saying, let me make bad feedback. Let me do something where I'm intentionally doing something that I know isn't going to be great. And so just doing that, and by the way, the feedback didn't come out bad. It's just like the mental gymnastics you play with yourself so that you can actually do some work. So that's one of the hacks that I have applied in my life that I've done for myself. It's just saying, let me do something bad. Another thing that I wanted to document here is the fact that I've been reading this book called The Hard Things About Hard Things, or I think that's what it's called. And in the book, the book talks about, the struggles that this person has had as they like created this company, and like it all like took off like a rocket, and then it crashed them, and the volatility of it, how they hire so many employees and they had to fire so many employees, and how the author said for 18 months they were struggling. And I'm just in the very first few chapters, but it was a story of her. Excuse me, I don't know why every time I record I get like these hiccups. But in any case, the author was talking about how for like 18 months they were just like didn't know whether the company was going to go up, it was going to explode, it was going to go down. They were like just all the time living on the edge. And I'm like, man, my life doesn't look like that. My company isn't like on the edge at all times. And that makes me feel, and then not only that, but then I think also of people like David Goggins, for example, that live like out there on the extremes. And I think like, man, am I strong enough to be like that? Am I like, I just feel weak. And part of me feels like, I don't know if I could endure like those really hard things. And then part of me thinks like, am I deserving of success if I cannot endure those like hardcore things? Is that even a prerequisite for success? And so anyway, those are things that I've been thinking about, and that, it's almost like an insecurity feeling of like, I don't know if I have sacrificed enough or gone through enough hardships to be successful, as if like there were some like rules in the universe that in order to have financial success, you must go through like the pits of hell or something. I don't know. But anyway, it just, that's kind of, it's a weird thought. And I just wanted to share it in case anybody else has ever had this thought of like, I haven't gone through enough. I haven't done enough. I haven't, sacrificed enough, so therefore I'm not in a place where I can be successful. And I don't think it's helpful. I just want to document it because I know, just to share the journey, and that's kind of a thought that I've had. Another thought that I had is like in this book, the author talks about how they grew really fast. And in our company, we've grown fast, but we haven't like exploded. Like they sounded like they had explosive growth. And so that's one of the things that I feel like is the reason why he had so much volatility. It's because the company took off and they hired a ton of employees, and the company did a little bit, like even if they started to tank a little bit, they had to fire employees right away. And so, so with really big growth comes a lot of ups and downs, a lot of headaches, a lot of troubles. And for me personally, I'm like, man, do I want that? And part of me thinks like, I don't even know if how that would even work, because even just as is right now inside our company, I feel like a lot of the lessons that we are learning and we're applying every day have been earned so hard. Like it's been so hard to learn the lessons where we're making mistakes, the ideas come slowly, or at least that's how it feels. It's like we're trying to move quickly, but we're pretty much like flying the airplane as we're building it. And sometimes you don't know how to build an airplane and you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and you're kind of just guessing. And so, yeah, I don't even know how that would look like. Like that would cause massive amount of chaos and so that explains it. But in any case, yeah, that's a thought there. Let me see what else I have. So I'm reading again my notes. And another thing that I was thinking about is that if you are growing your business, so you could have explosive growth if you have the skill sets already. But if you're a brand new entrepreneur and your thing is exploding, I just don't know how people do it. But anyway, okay. So I have a lot more thoughts, but I'll save them for another day. I think just right now, we gotta just survive through this week. And then we just have to solve this support bottleneck problem that we have. I cannot wait until we have really awesome employees who are taking care of this support processes. But yeah, this is my update for today. Rambled on everywhere. Yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.